As a sound guy, David, as you hear that intro and that sudden cutoff on the music, you must
Hello,
think, "Oh, that is so
everyone.
bad."
Hello, hello.
I didn't want to say anything. I don't think it's bad. No, it gets
No,
the job done.
that's good.
Yeah.
Tiffany, can you hear us?
Well,
I
maybe
don't think
not.
Tiffany can hear
All
us.
right.
I don't think so.
I can hear you. Yes.
Oh,
Oh,
okay,
good.
Am
good.
I stuck? Am
Fantastic.
I
No, no,
frozen?
no,
Nope.
nope.
All
I can
good.
hear you.
All good. That's
Yeah,
perfect. Good. We
I
can
can
hear
hear you.
you too.
Yeah. Although,
Yeah. Go ahead.
okay. Good. Yay. Getting a little stuck here, huh? Oh my gosh. I'm even hardwired into the router, so I'm not sure what's going on
Huh.
Oh, okay. It
with
sounds like
this.
there's maybe a bit of a delay between you and us.
Between, yeah.
I don't know what's happening, David. I'm hardwired into the router, but you guys keep freezing.
Huh.
Oh,
That's no good. It's plugged in.
okay. Well, we might have a unique little technical issue.
Yep.
So
What's
while
going
while you resolve that, Tiffany, I have your day 3 stuff is here. That's all good. We're ready to share. And I just want to welcome everyone to
Yay.
day 3. We are here for the final day of Launch Your Podcast and with David and Tiffany. And I think we've got a little slight technical issue on Tiffany's end. She seems to have a bit of a delay. So we're just going to get that sorted out and we'll get going. So, what I'd like to invite you guys while they sort this out is why don't you share a little bit about what have you learned today or what have you learned in the last 2 days that have been mind blowing things to learn that you've
Share a
learned
little
so
bit about
far?
what have you learned today that's
Oh, and we'll just get Tiffany to mute. There we go. And you can unmute when you're all ready, Tiffany, because we're just getting feedback. So, who wants to share what they've been learning so far? What's blown your mind so far in this? Because, I did a podcast for about 6 months or so, put out about 30 episodes, and my mind is blown. I've learned a ton off of this. So, are you okay now, Tiffany?
I think I'm okay. Can you see me? Is
We
everything
can
good?
we can see you. It sounds like there's no delay, so this is awesome. How are you, David? You're muted, by the
Sweet.
way.
So, Chris, I'd love to know what is something Chris, what is something you learned? I mean, being an experienced podcaster, what's something that was new to you?
Well, even just the sort of the off the cuff stuff that we were discussing yesterday about preparing ahead when you're starting out. I've been telling people get a bunch in the can, and you guys brought up some really good reasons why you don't want to get too much in the can because
Mm-hmm.
you might just change direction and then it's a waste of time.
Right.
So I thought that was
Mhm.
really valuable, but also then I love the way that you guys niche down into the room. And because everyone says, "What mic
Mhm.
should I get? What mic should I get?"
Yeah.
And you really put that into perspective. More people need to understand that it's the room, the soft furnishings that are around you. How does sound work? Having that understanding of where it bounces and you know how you get the best sound, I think, is really critical.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I love that some other people have shared here. So, I was asking them to share us what you've learned so far. So, how totally possible Audacity seems.
It is.
Mhm.
Audacity
That's
is
I
great.
love
Marianne.
that.
Yay.
Yeah. You just need to play with it because
It
it
does.
can
Mhm.
Yeah.
be daunting when you first look at it.
Mhm.
But even David, the things that you showed, how to, just to drag and grab things to silence, to delete,
Yeah.
just having those little tips.
Yep.
What I found interesting with Audacity is then bringing in other tracks
Right.
and
Mhm.
lining that up. So then there's little cheats that you can learn along the way about that
Mm-hmm.
stuff too.
For sure.
So
Another thing,
Mhm.
I'll since you're talking about little cheats, I'll throw another one out there. I don't know if anybody is aware of the dog clickers. You can get them on Amazon for like $10 or whatever, and they're used for training dogs. And so you'll see people, and they'll tell them to sit, and they'll click, and then they get a treat for that click. Well, those clickers are great to have in your pocket or sitting on your desk or somewhere where you can grab it. So if you make a mistake while you're recording and you want to edit that out, you grab that little clicker, and it's the same as like making a snap, right? That loud, instant little noise is going to create this really sharp peak in your graph. So when you're scrolling through and looking at your waveform, it sticks out like a sore thumb. And so it's a very simple way of finding places that you need to go back and fix things. So you
yeah,
can just grab it and go click, click, and then now you know that's where I got to go back in and edit. So
that is a great tip. Somebody
yeah,
told me to, yeah, 2 snaps.
yeah,
And so,
Yeah,
or
you
2
just want to see
claps.
the big spike on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it works
Yeah.
really well.
All right. So one of the users said that your sound's a bit low, David. I think
Oh,
it might
I
be because
can
you're
turn.
pulling away from the mic a little bit. But
Yeah.
we also have knowing your purpose is important. Start where you are versus where you think you need to be. Learning about the simple equipment. These are all really good. We're so glad you're learning that kind of stuff, you guys. This is
Yeah.
great. Um, so we're going to keep moving ahead. As far as Audacity goes, we just want to let you guys know there's so much to learn with Audacity, and we do teach more within our course. And then David also has a master class. So if you feel like you're ready for next level Audacity, his master class is next level. It's not like it's beginner next level, so it's not quite intermediate, but it's not beginner. So if you're beginner, maybe our course is good for you. If you're next level, you might want that masterclass. It comes with a really good workbook that has steps and all of that good stuff. So just letting you know that there are resources if you're having fun with Audacity and
Hmm.
you're ready to go with it.
Yeah.
Jennifer says, your episodes tie back to your central idea and purpose. Yeah. And she said the same thing about Audacity. I love it.
Yeah. This
All
is
right.
good.
Chris, I think we are ready to get into today. We want to leave
Perfect.
lots of time for question and answer at the end because this is our
Okay.
last day with you guys. So we want to make sure we answer as many of your questions as we can. And
Perfect. Well, looking forward to
we have
day 3
exciting things to
magic.
share today. So
I will exit and let me know when you want your slide up. Okay.
and Chris, I just have to say thank you for being such an incredible producer. You are amazing. So thank you, thank you. All right, we're ready for the slideshow to be up. Awesome. All right. So, podcasting boot camp day 3. You are here with Tiffany and David. Day 3. We are so excited to have you. I am Tiffany Kane. The David is the sexy sound guy. He has, for those of you that are just joining us today, just to know, David has 2 decades of sound editing experience in the dialogue and voiceover world. There is not a video game out that he hasn't edited. He has some major credits to his name. It's pretty incredible. And we host a podcast called Mastering the Podcaster Mindset. We host that together. And I have a podcast called Love and Life After Divorce. All right. So everything that we teach is around these 3 pillars. We always ground everything we do in the mindset. And we were having a conversation with somebody today about why the mindset is so important. And that's important because our brain's job is to protect us. You know, evolution wise, we had to be protected from the big beast attacking us or another clan attacking us. And your brain said, oh, if you are uncomfortable, you might be hungry, you might be in danger. So you need to fight, you need to freeze, you need to flee, whatever's happening. The brain is wired to do that. And so often our mindset issues become our biggest barrier because when we're trying something new like podcasting, we're not in danger. We're not going to die, but our brain doesn't know that because our brain knows we're uncomfortable. So this is really when we master our mindset, it's not saying you're never going to feel fear. It's saying we are mastering that fear. We're in charge of it and we're able to tell our brain, we're not in danger. It's okay. We're safe. And we're trying something new and it feels a little scary, but we're okay. So we really, really hit that mindset piece really big. The next section is content. That's the next pillar of a successful podcast. You have to have great content. There needs to be something in it for your listener that helps them in some way, whether it's entertaining them and getting them out of their day to day, whether it's informing them, educating them, creating a community for them. In some way, shape, or form, your content needs to help your listener. And then production. You've got to have good sound. You've got to have a good show. So, how do you do this? So, everything that we do centers around these 3 pillars. Today, the mindset pillar is going to be around perfectionism. Raise your hand, put a thumbs up or a heart if you are like me and perfectionism is one of your issues. Whew, yes, I see some thumbs up for sure. Elements, we're going to look at your show structure. And then in production, we're going to look at how do you publish and promote your podcast. All right, mindset. Here we go, you guys, talking about perfectionism. Okay. Are you like me? Did you have to be an A plus student? Funny story, when I was in my master's program, one of my professors gave me a B on one of my papers. And it sent me into a tailspin like you would not believe. I'm messaging him back and forth. Why did I get a B? This is unacceptable. I am not a B student. And I think I gave him such a hard time. He let me fix it. And I ended up with an A plus on that paper, which made me feel so much better. But I am an A plus student, which causes so much stress in my life. And one of the things that I've really had to learn to embrace is that idea of do it messy. Just do it. Done is better than perfect, because perfectionism really is a giant barrier. And perfectionism is a way of saying, I don't think I'm good enough. And so I have to be perfect to prove I'm good enough. And it's really our ego getting in the way. There is nobody else that expects us to be perfect. Nobody. In fact, people tend to like imperfect people better. I mean, think of some of your favorite people, your favorite celebrities, your favorite writers, your favorite comedians. They're the people that make mistakes and own up to it. They're able to laugh at themselves. They don't take life too seriously. Now think of those people that are a little bit uncomfortable to be around. Those are the people who have to be perfect all the time. And it doesn't feel great to be around them because they're kind of high stress people. They're kind of high strung. You don't feel really good around them because you kind of feel like, well, do I have to be perfect when I'm around them because they're so perfect? So, you know, perfectionism is an illusion that we just need to let go. One of my favorite stories as a new mom, I was one of those new moms where I was exhausted. Both of my babies were really, really, really difficult babies, really challenging. And it showed in my hair, my face, my clothes, my exhaustion. Like I was the walking dead going to the grocery store. You know, I there was not an ounce of perfectionism in the way I looked at all as a new mom. And I'm in the grocery store and I'm standing next to a woman who is in this impeccable suit. I think it was even like a cream colored suit with her perfect pearl earrings and her hair in this perfect, you know, do like she looks like she's never had a sweaty, messy day in her life. And she's holding her child, perfect little baby who's probably maybe just under a year old. Then the baby is in these cute little booties and beautiful little outfit, and everything about them looks absolutely perfect. And I'm sitting there standing next to her with my kid missing a sock and spit up all over him and spit up all over me, thinking, how does she do it? And then she turned around and she had this giant stream of spit up down her back. And I, in that moment, loved her so much. And I went, you are just like me. We're both covered in spit up. And it made me just love her. And I wanted to hug her. And the reason I'm telling this story is we all feel so much better when we feel like the people around us are human, right? Nobody wants to be around a perfect person. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to you when you're trying to be perfect. It doesn't feel good to the people around you. So let's get rid of perfectionism. Let's let it go. let it go. We're going to just sing that song. I'm not going to sing it because I'm a horrible singer, but we are going to let that perfectionism go because it does nothing but hurt us. This also includes when you're editing your podcast.
Mm-hmm.
David, will you talk about what happens when people try to edit out all of their ums and ahs and you knows? We call those filler words. What happens when people try to edit all of those out?
You end up sounding very unnatural. Like I just said, right? It's something we do naturally. And when you have that conversation with people, you get used to having those pauses. It gives also your listeners time to absorb the material, because if you just cut out all the breaths and all the mistakes and certain mistakes, of course, you're going to want to get rid of. But for the most part, you can leave the majority of that in to keep it sounding natural. I think I mentioned yesterday about editing dialogue for commercial uses. And we leave that stuff in because if we don't, again, it's going to sound unnatural. And I've had to go through and, I'm adding little pieces of ends of words and things like that that don't quite come through in the recording, just to put that natural sound back in, little clicks and things that I'll put back in, because during processing we lose too much of it. So we have to add room noise to the background. We have to add ends of words, little guttural sounds that our voices make and things like that, because otherwise it just sounds robotic, and robotic isn't something people can connect with.
Yeah. And when let's pretend you take your dialogue and you put it into something like Descript. Descript gives you the option of finding all your filler words and deleting them. And that sounds really appealing. It's like one click and I can get rid of all my ums and all my filler words. And that's terrific. But what ends up happening is it also throws all of your dialogue really close together. And then your listener feels like they're having to run to listen to you, and it feels very stressful to them. The human brain is used to having time to pause, and those ums and things like that give the human brain time to pause. Now, there's things you can do within yourself to minimize how many times you're saying and like, and it is good to not have too many of those, but it's better to train yourself to not say them than it is to go through your editing and spend 8 hours trying to take them all out. And then your dialogue is very clipped and it's uncomfortable for people to listen to. So get rid of perfectionism in your editing as well.
And it can be scary when people see. I know even for myself, when we first put something into Descript and it was like 200 and some odd different ums that it found. And you're like, oh my gosh, I say it that many times. And a lot of times the ums that Descript finds is like you just taking a breath or a little part of a word that's being said. And when it chops them all out, it gets bumped together. And again, it just sounds unnatural. So don't freak out when you see those numbers if you happen to do that. It's not as bad as it seems.
All right. We've been talking a long time and we want to hear from you. So, what is an area of perfectionism you would like to let go of as you are working on your podcast? We'll give you a second to put that in there. An area of perfectionism that I had to let go was around basically my talking and trying to script things out. That's just too difficult. I decided to let things be a little bit more natural and flowy and not quite so scripted. And that's really made podcasting much more joyful for me. So, what's an area for you? David, what's some bit of perfectionism you've had to let go of?
Definitely when I first started doing dialogue editing, I tried to take out too much of it took me too long because I was trying to be too perfect in what I was delivering. And eventually I realized that if I did that, I'd make no money. So I had to not be perfect or I wouldn't have made any money. And the funny thing is I would get, all of our stuff would go from me to somebody that does QA, and then it gets sent back to me if there were any mistakes. And the few times that stuff does get sent back, you hear, even because you're listening to it now a second, third, fourth time, and I'd hear noises and things that I normally would have taken out. But not only did I miss it the first time, the QA person missed it, and now it's coming back to me. So it's 30 years on it, and already nobody has paid attention to it. So it's stuff, you start to hear things that um, you're taking out that it's unnecessary. So I had to release that need to want to take everything out and just
Yeah.
allow it to go, allow it to flow, and allow it to be natural.
Oh, we are getting some good answers here. I love Donna said, accepting the sound of my own voice. Oh, Donna, I had to work on that. And being able to see my face on
That's
video.
hard.
Oh my God, it's so bad.
Yeah.
Chris said editing perfection was her issue. And that can
Mm-hmm.
suck your life. Like you can spend hours. I talked to somebody, I coached somebody that was spending 8 hours editing.
Yeah, per
And
episode.
I was
Yeah.
like, per episode, and like that's just not okay. That's not the way to live your life. Penny says maybe not having content totally laid out, but leaving room for spontaneity. Yes, your audience
Mm-hmm.
loves that too. Jennifer says spending too much time trying to write out a specific script instead of an outline of bullet points. So it's more like a conversation than an audiobook. Yeah, very good. And people get a little uncomfortable when they think you're just reading from a script. They want to
Yeah.
feel like you're talking to them. Marianne says, I struggle with wanting to know all the answers to where I'm headed versus enjoying the ride and expecting the imperfections.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we have to have joy in the journey. If we are just, where's the destination? Where's the destination? How do I get there? Then we miss all of the joy of the
Mm-hmm.
journey, and our
There's
destination may change.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with knowing where you want to go. I mean, that's part of a good trailer is going to tell people. A good trailer for your podcast is going to tell people where you're planning on transforming them to, right? Where are you going to take them? As far as the path to get there, that path can be windy. There's
Mm-hmm.
no reason to have the path totally laid out, because at the end of the day, you're going to end up in the same place. So
Yep. Excellent. Yay, you guys. I think you've made these are really good aha moments with perfectionism of things
yeah,
to let go. I love it.
you
So
know
let's head
something.
over to content. Oh, David, do
Oh,
you have
go
something
ahead.
else?
I was just going to say, Donna mentioned accepting the sound of your own voice. Funny little trick if you feel like trying it out. Our ears are behind our mouths, so that's why we sound different when we're listening to ourselves versus listening to ourselves through a microphone. If you want to play, you can take the microphone and put it behind your head, and you'll sound a lot closer to what you normally sound like in your head. So, sorry,
That's
carry
funny.
on.
That's a fun tip. Okay, so with content, we are going to talk today about what is the structure of your show. You want to have a very strong show structure so that your audience knows what to expect. If your show is all over the place, then it's going to be very hard for your audience to connect with you. So, you may have a structure where you are an interview type of show. These types of shows are very popular. About 50% of podcast listeners really enjoy interview type of shows. So this is it's a popular type of show, and it's a very well enjoyed show. So this may be what you want to do. You may want to have more of an entertaining type of show. There are shows that are actually very scripted because they're drama shows, kind of like old radio shows. And those are also very popular types of shows. So it's almost like listening to a theater performance or an old radio drama show or comedy show on a podcast. And that may be your show structure. Maybe your show structure is to inform. And so it's you doing a monologue. And so you are talking and sharing information. So you can find examples of all kinds of different show structures on a podcast. And really, what you need to do is decide what will my show structure be? And then make that show structure really, really strong. So, for my Love and Life After Divorce podcast, my structure is every Tuesday, I drop an interview with somebody. And every Thursday, I have a monologue episode. I call it Tiffany's Titillating Talks. And those are my musings, my things I want to share. So my audience knows what I am going to be doing. They know what to expect and on what day. With our Mastering the Podcaster mindset, every Monday we drop an episode that is somewhere around 10 to 15 minutes long. That is some sort of quick tip to help people have a great podcast. And then on Wednesdays, we drop an episode that is some form of interview. We might be interviewing an expert, we might be interviewing a client, we might be having a spotlight on one of our members that's doing really great with podcasting. In some way, shape, or form, it's an interview that we then come on and talk about our takeaways. So that's the structure that we have for our shows. Like I said, there are so many different structures. Their news shows are very, very popular. Shows, history shows are popular. There are even people in the like Dungeons and Dragons world
Mm-hmm.
and fantasy world that talk about that kind of stuff. There are people that talk about TV shows. So like super popular, Mad Men and Bachelor. Those are two shows that if you have a Mad Men or Bachelor show, you tend to get lots of followers. And really what they do is they kind of recap the show and talk about the show. Not my personal favorite kind of show, but they are crazy popular. So what we're going to do right now is I want you guys to take a moment and think, what show structure do you think you want? You're not locked into this. This is just you right now thinking. Think about what you enjoy listening to when you listen to podcasts, what means a lot to you, and then think about what would my show structure be? What would I like? What would I like to do? And we'll give you a second. We'd love to hear from you in the chat what you think your show structure is that you're going to have. And there is a page in the workbook for this. So if you already downloaded the workbook, you can work in that and write down your ideas. I do see that Chris was able to put the link in the chat. That is so exciting. We're not in Facebook jail with our links. So if you would like to download the workbook now, you can.
Unfortunately, the materials list wouldn't go up.
Ah,
Yeah, she was able
okay.
to get one though.
Oh, good. So Penny said she'd like to have a combination of interviews and education sharing. Yes. Okay, good. I like that. So you'll have interviews with some people, and sometimes you'll just come on and you will share some of your knowledge, which I think is terrific. Anybody else? Do you know what your show structure is going to be? Oh, hi, Bree. Bree's on. So we were on with Bree this morning. We were interviewing to be on her podcast this morning. And it was so wonderful. And I wish we'd had more time with her. And hopefully she'll have us back on another time when we can spend more time with her because Bree is amazing. All right. Kim says a blend of interview, monologue, and guided meditations.
Nice.
That's good. Make sure you have very clear days when those are. You may even have different intros so that people know what to expect on those days because they need to be in a different mindset set and space when they're having a meditation versus coming and listening to an interview. And if I'm listening to a guided meditation, I probably don't want to be driving. I would want to be maybe in a quiet place. And so it's nice to know, oh, this is a guided meditation. I want to be ready for this. I know that Kim's guided meditations happen every Wednesday. When I listen to her podcast, I'm going to make sure I'm in a place where I can really take full advantage of that. I like that, Kim. Roberta Smart says, oh, we can do hard things. Yes, Glennon Doyle is amazing. So weekly chat episode and a weekly musing episode and maybe story time from a writer who writes stories. I like that. Actually, the story time is something that my audience requested. And so I have put in a weekly read aloud. I call it the Fuzzy Slippers Read Aloud. It started as a little bit of a joke when I was sick with COVID, and now it's kind of become a thing for my podcast. So I love that story time.
Yeah. It's
Donna
actually been pretty
has,
popular.
it has, they do
Yeah.
really good. David, do you want to read Donna's, what she said?
Where am I?
Can you see it? I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, we can
Right
do hard
there.
things as Glennon Doyle.
1 week
I just,
episode on inspirational rant for my niche. And oops, it just jumped up. I lost it. And the next week, an interview with an expert related to your niche. So I like that. That's a good way of
mm-hmm.
staying consistent. You just alternate every other week, and it's pretty simple that way.
Ooh, Jennifer has a cool idea. She says she's thinking about doing 6 to 8 week seasons, and they would have a theme, and they would have 5 mini episodes with monologue and then have a weekly interview. Ooh, that's a really cool
Interesting.
idea. I like that. All right. Okay, you guys, these
Lot
are
of good ones.
great ideas. Very good ideas. You know what you want. I like that you have a good mix. Make sure your mix is really structured. So it's not like, oh, this week I think I'll do an interview. This week I think I'll do a monologue. This week I think, we want it. Your listeners need to know what to expect, and you need to know what is going out. And so make it something you can manage. I do 2 episodes. Well, I do 3 episodes a week now, which I'm not going to lie, between 2 podcasts, one of them does 2 episodes a week, one does 3. We have 5 episodes a week. That's a lot to manage. Thankfully, I have the sexy sound guy, but even with that, we're constantly oh my gosh, we have an episode to upload.
Yeah.
So that's a lot to manage. So make sure you make it super manageable for yourself. There are podcasts that post every other week. There are podcasts that post once a month. There are podcasts that post weekly. There are podcasts that post multiple times a week. There are podcasts that post daily. Choose something, choose a schedule that works for you, that you will be consistent at.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you are consistent and your audience knows when you are posting, then that is what is important.
Yeah. It's important not only for your listeners, but also for your metrics as far as the algorithms go for things like Instagram and whatnot. When you're posting your ads for your episodes and all that kind of stuff, the more consistent you are, the better your chances are of getting bumped up happen. So keep that in mind also.
Oh, Marianne, yours will be a monologue breaking down multiple chapters of the book being focused on, and then interviews at the end of the book with the author or guest on an adjacent topic. That's really cool.
Very
I
cool.
like that. So a deep dive into a book. Ooh, that sounds really interesting. You guys have some great ideas. I love this. Okay, we are going to move into production because this is kind of our big part today. Let's spend time on this. This is what we get a lot of questions about. People are always asking us, what is the best hosting platform? What can I use? A lot of people use Anchor. They have a free version. It links directly to Spotify. So it's a viable option. I'm not going to lie. When I see somebody post from Anchor, I have a little bit of a hard time thinking that they're taking their podcasting seriously. I'm in a lot of podcast forums. And if somebody wants a free host, it kind of tells me they're not taking their podcast seriously. There's nothing wrong with starting there. Anchor just doesn't have a lot of the capabilities that some of the other podcast hosts have. And because it's owned by Spotify, Anchor, and because Anchor is free, anybody can have a podcast up. And what ends up happening is Anchor gets very, very kind of big jumbled with people that start a podcast and never move forward with it. And so there are a ton of just trailers or 1 or 2 episodes, things people have just, I'm grabbing my phone, I'm doing an episode, and then, nah, this just isn't for me because Anchor is free. So it's a great place if you're just trying and you're starting. But David and I highly recommend, if your podcast is an important part of your brand, if this is a marketing tool, if this is a piece of your business, if this is a part of your personal brand, take it seriously and invest in a host that will really take care of your feed. Chris says she knows 2 people that lost all of their episodes on Anchor.
Oh
Is that
wow.
on Anchor, Chris? Yeah. I mean, friends, you get what you pay for, right?
Yeah.
So if you want a free host, you're getting free host quality. If you want to pay, then you're getting paid quality. There's no free lunch. Some people choose Anchor because, oh, I can monetize right away. I don't need any number. But Anchor throws ads into your podcast and they may pay you 2 cents, 5 cents, 10 cents. But those ads often go before your podcast. And so people that don't know you, have never heard your podcast before, are hearing an ad before your podcast. And they may go, oh, I don't need to listen to this. Like, what is this? And so they never even really get to hear you. And is that worth the 2 cents or the 20 cents that Anchor is paying you to, quote unquote, monetize your podcast? And there's nobody out there who can survive on the meager cents that you're getting from Anchor. You may get a couple dollars a month. So we highly recommend going with a paid hosting platform. There are dozens of amazing hosting platforms out there. There's Libsyn, there's Captivate, there's Buzzsprout, there's Podbean, there's all kinds. And you can do some research and find the one that fits best for you. We always recommend for new podcasters to start with Buzzsprout. That's what I started with. I did a ton of research and have been super, super happy with Buzzsprout. It is so easy to launch. It's really easy to get your podcast listed on all major platforms like Apple and Spotify, which is what you want. They have something called a dynamic intro and outro, which is really unique. And what that means is you can change your intro and your outro at any time. So you don't have to edit that onto your episodes. When you're starting out, this is really important because you may have an intro that 10 episodes in, you decide, I don't really like this intro. I want to change my intro. Or you may say, oh, well, I have a retreat coming up in April. And so for February and March, I want my intro and outro to talk about that retreat. But come April 15th, the retreat's already done. I no longer want my intro and outro to talk about that. So dynamic, I can take it off and I can put a new intro on. And now all my episodes have my new intro. So this dynamic intro and outro is phenomenal. You get a podcast website, so you don't have to pay extra for a podcast website. You get visual sound bites within Buzzsprout. So you don't have to pay extra for an app to get those visual sound bites. And visual sound bites are a great way to promote your podcast. So we highly recommend Buzzsprout. Also, Buzzsprout has amazing support. In all my time with Buzzsprout, I had one time where I needed a little bit of help on something. It wasn't anything major. They literally got back to me 5 minutes, maybe. I sent the email and 5 minutes back, I had an email. They had fixed the issue. So like their support is phenomenal. And then they have all kinds of videos, how-to videos. So for me, Buzzsprout makes the most sense for starting your podcast. They also have ways to monetize your podcast. So if you're really interested in having ads in your podcast, they have something called, I think it's called Podcorn, where you can pick up some ads for your podcast through this app that they are friends with. There we go. So anyway, Buzzsprout is our favorite. Now we've gone for Mastering the Podcaster Mindset. We've gone with something called Captivate.fm. because it's a little bit more professional and it gives us some professional capabilities that we wanted to be able to have. We're building a network. We wanted to have the capability of hosting our network within Captivate.fm. And so we chose that, but we lost the dynamic and intro and outro. We lost the visual soundbite when we went over there. Not a big deal for us because we're at a place where we have other ways to do that. But for a beginner, we just highly recommend Buzzsprout. It makes a lot of sense.
The Buzzsprout user interface also is widely known as being the most user friendly. So it's
Very.
the easiest to get your podcasts uploaded, easiest to do your show notes, easiest to add all the stuff that you need to, just all the general stuff that's involved with uploading an episode. Buzzsprout is hands down the easiest platform to use.
Yeah.
So another
And
good benefit.
Jennifer, I see that you say that Buzzsprout's offering first 90 days free. Yes. And so Buzzsprout does have a free version, and they will host my words are escaping me at the
Podcast
moment.
episodes.
The episodes, yeah. For basically from 90 days, you get it for free. And then your episodes are no longer there.
Yeah.
So that's another reason to pay. Like free, you get what you pay for when you have free.
Yeah.
So
it is a good way to try it though and see if you like the interface and how it functions.
Yep.
But just be aware that after the 90 days, you'll lose your episode uploads.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we just highly recommend, and it's not very expensive, you guys. You pay for how many hours you're going to upload. I upload a lot, so I pay, I think, middle of the road, and I think it's under $20 a month for the amount that I pay for. I think I get 6 or 8 hours a month of upload time. So it's really not that expensive, and it's really a wonderful site. Is there anybody here that has used Buzzsprout or has used another hosting platform? David raised his hand. Or has used another hosting platform. Oh, the cool thing about Buzzsprout as well is they have the capability for you to have a special login for somebody if somebody else is managing your podcast for you. So let's say you have a podcast manager or you have an editor. A lot of times editors will upload, your episodes to your host rather than sending it back to you. They can upload it directly to your host, and you don't want them to have your login, right? You can give them their special login and then very special permission. They can only do A and B. They can't do C and D, right? Like maybe you don't want them writing your show notes and you don't want them uploading art. You just want them putting the feed in. Then that's the capability. And if you don't want somebody seeing your analytics or whatever, then they don't have the capability to kind of go and see all your stuff. Oh, that's the other thing with Buzzsprout. Amazing analytics. All kinds of charts and graphs and great analytics to see how your podcast is doing. Bree uses Spreaker and she likes that. Yep. Like we said, there are really great hosts out there. Donna uses Podbean, really good. Let's see. Chris. Oh, are you putting information up on Buzzsprout, Chris? Great.
Buzzsprout, yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Chris. Best producer ever. Okay. So we highly recommend Buzzsprout. We did put a link to Buzzsprout in the materials list. So feel free to use that link if you want or not. It's entirely up to you. But we definitely recommend Buzzsprout as the host. Now, we have had the question before, what is a podcast host? And I realize I didn't answer this immediately. Some of you may have this question. What is a podcast host? So your podcast needs to have a host that holds on to all of your episodes and sends it out to the directories like Apple and Spotify and Stitcher and Google Podcasts. So you get something called an RSS feed from your hosting platform, and then it gets sent out. In the olden days, podcasters used to have to host on their own, and they would have to every week send out their feed to the different directories every time, and it was very laborious. And then Libsyn, I believe, is the OG. They're the original podcast host that said, "Hey, I think we can make this easier. Use us and we'll help you get your feed out." So Libsyn is the original. You can check them out. They have some really good features. And then Buzzsprout and Podbean and places like that, got in on the game and started creating a lot of functionality that has made podcasting super easy. You guys, podcasting used to be a lot more difficult. A lot more difficult. So you are coming into the podcasting world in a time when there's so many services out there that make it pretty darn easy to get your podcast up and running without a lot of technical knowledge. Whereas before, you had to host yourself and submit your RSS feed yourself, and it was pretty technical. All right. Are there any questions about the hosting platform before we move on to promoting your podcast? All right. Go ahead and
As
move
we
on.
coach,
That
it really makes me
more and
think
more clients. You and I
Wow.
realized that really. Are you getting all that sound?
Yep.
You guys hear all that? Woo! Okay. So, Canva is a wonderful place to create podcast episode art. And then you can create this art and you can share it on your social media platforms to promote your podcast. So within our course, we always bring in somebody named Michelle Toscano. She is the real Canva girl, and she always teaches a masterclass on how to use Canva and how to brand your podcast. So I have a couple examples here to share with you guys. I wasn't sure if the sound would come through or not. This first example is what's called
with divorce. I'm actually dating someone who's divorced.
So this is a visual sound bite, or also known as an audiogram. And this was made within Buzzsprout. So I created the art in Canva, and then the audiogram piece is made in Buzzsprout. So this is one of those great features that's included in Buzzsprout. Other people that use other podcast hosts have to pay for something like Descript or Headliner to make their audiograms. So this is really fantastic. You get an audiogram included in your Buzzsprout, and it's super easy. Also, a great thing to do is to take some of your video clip. So once again, in Canva, I made my design. They have the capability, these frames where you can put video in, and I just upload a video. I thought you would be the perfect guest to come on and talk about this rediscovering your. And people love video. And I didn't include the video that has the captions this time because I was trying to make it simple, but I will take this and then I upload it into Descript and I get captions with the video. You don't have to do that. You don't have to start there. I did not start there with my podcast. I had just a video, but that's what this big blank space is for. Here is I will then take it into Descript and get some captions, which is a whole nother thing that we're not teaching today. But once again, this is created within Canva, and in Canva, you can upload video, and video is super engaging. It will keep people watching, and that's what you want in your social media analytics. You want people stopping and watching. And so this is these soundbite and a video, I call these videograms, are ways that people will stop and watch. Stop their scroll and watch. Mm-hmm. This was made in Descript. Really, oftentimes the greatest barrier to people either launching their podcast So this is David and my podcast, Mastering the Podcaster Mindset. So you can see we have a very clear brand. If you go to either of our pages on Instagram, you'll see Love and Life. The colors are pink, yellow, and blue, and it's very organic shapes, and it's very joyful and playful because that's the brand that I have for that podcast, because divorce can be a very heavy subject, and I want to talk about the joy that you can have after. And then Mastering the Podcaster Mindset, we decided to try to go a little old school, a little vintage. Our pictures are all black and white, and we chose these different colors of blue. And the music that we have for the podcast is kind of throwback and vintagey and really fun, kitschy. We kind of wanted that like Charlie Chaplin silent movie fun feeling to talking about podcasting. And so that's our branding for that. So we use Canva to create pretty much everything. Let's see. There have been lots of comments going on. Yes, Penny loves Canva. Chris, thanks. Scroll stoppers. You're so nice. So how many of you, I'd love to know, go ahead and put a me or a yes if you use Canva, if you're familiar with Canva. If you'd like to learn more about Canva, then put that in the notes that you would like to learn more about Canva. Bree uses Canva. She is an
Bree is
expert.
really good with Canva.
Yes. She made us a really cool video when we launched our Mastering the Podcaster Mindset that we love. Shauna uses Canva. Excellent. Love it. Okay, so we've got some Canva users. So Canva is just a really great graphic design tool that you can use to help promote your podcast and get it out there. And then put it out on all your social media channels and be proud of what you're doing. When I launched my Love and Life After Divorce podcast, I started a brand new page that I kept secret on my Instagram. I didn't want anybody to know what I was doing. I didn't invite any of my friends to the page. It was a secret. And then I just started having so much fun with it that I was like, okay, I really want this to get out and I want to have some fun with this. And so now my page is building up. I'm getting more traction with the page, but I literally started at zero because I wanted nobody to know about it.
Mhm.
I don't want you guys to start there. I want you to be proud of what you're doing and invite people into it and have fun. And don't be scared like I was in the beginning. You don't have to start at zero. Invite your friends. All right. And like I said, if you want more help with Canva within our community, we have so many people that are experts. Like Bree is in our, she was one of our students and now she is in our membership and she's super savvy with Canva. We bring in Michelle Toscano, the real Canva girl. She teaches a masterclass. She's going to be a regular on our podcast to talk about branding. So exciting things there. And we always try to bring in people from our community to help build the
Hey
community.
there, this is Stephanie Nielsen, and I am the host.
Okay. So we have a special video to share with you guys. David, I want to make sure the sound is okay.
Yeah,
Could you
I
hear
heard it.
that all right? All
Mhm.
right. So we want to share this with you. Some of our students from our last class made a video, recorded videos for us. And we loved this. We did not ask them to talk about the community. We just asked, what was your biggest takeaway from this course? And this was we're really big on feedback. So we asked for them to record a video because we want our students to get used to being on video and being in front of their mics. So this was their homework. Record a video. Let us know what your biggest takeaway from the course was. What's your biggest aha? What are you taking with you? And we really wanted their feedback. And to our great surprise, almost all of them talked about the community. We had not expected that. That was not a question we asked them. But almost all of them talked about the community that was created in going through the course. So we wanted to share this with you.
Hey there, this is Stephanie Nielsen, and I am the host of the Strength Discovered podcast. And that's all thanks to Tiffany and David. I learned so much over the course of the 6 weeks with them and learning how to podcast.
It's great because your guidance makes it so easy and that you don't feel alone because there's a lot that could go on with an endless browser search. And with your course, you take us by our hand and make sure everything goes smoothly with the best recommendations and with the best energy. Is the loving, fun, and down to earth leadership that you guys have, Tiffany and David. It's incredible. Also, that you believe in us so much, which is really encouraging.
Tiffany helped me to realize that I have value to offer. People need to hear what I have to say.
Awesome class. You guys are the best. You're a great team. If I didn't say that, Tiffany, you have so much knowledge and so much empathy. And I actually might want a one-on-one call with you, but you are awesome. And David's technology, you guys are like a mind-blowing team. Like you knock it out of the water, out of the park. What do you do? Knock it somewhere. You guys are great.
And stumbled upon Tiffany and David on Facebook. I'm so grateful I did. They are very warm and welcoming people. They'll make you feel like you've known them your whole life. And the course is thorough. They cover every aspect. Tiffany's really done her homework. So everything from podcasting, microphones to platforms, the technical stuff. David, of course, has a huge background in sound.
So we just wanted to share that with you guys. If you are interested in joining our course, the most important thing to us in that course is creating a community of people that support each other and encourage each other on this launching your podcast journey. And that is the key cornerstone of what we work so hard to create. It's not just take our course and launch your podcast. It's take our course and become part of a community of podcasters that support and encourage each other and help each other to grow. And we truly become a family. And we would love for you to join us. So doors are open. Chris has a link to for you guys to be able to sign up to the podcast. And here is the link for your course. We also, for those of you that have already launched your podcast, we have an Art of Podcasting membership group. And the pictures are not showing up. But we have a membership group called The Art of Podcasting that is very we keep you going to the next level so that you never hit that podcast fade. I don't know why the art's not coming up. I'm sorry. Technical difficulties. But we are here for you with that membership group. We have a monthly masterclass. We have monthly Q&As. We have monthly work sessions. And we really support people in the next level of their podcast. So we do have a bonus for the first 10 people that sign up for launching your podcast 6-week course or the membership. If you are in the first 10 that sign up from GigJig, we will be holding a special small group session with just the first 10 people where we talk with you about where you are at on your journey, and you get that very special small group time with David and I on Zoom to really hone in on where you're at and answer your questions and get you started. So this is a really special deal to have some special time focused on you and your needs. So if you are interested in that bonus and getting that special time with us in a very small group setting, face to face, then please, please, please be one of the first 10 to sign up. In the workbook, you will have these links here to click on to go ahead and sign up for the course or the membership. And like I said, first 10, you get to hang out a little bit longer with David and me. All right. And these are podcasts. You guys know about that. So we have a little bit of time for some questions and answers. Does anybody have any questions for us?
We'll have to see. I think our chat went out.
It did.
Oh,
It stopped
no.
again. So if everyone just looks up, I've created a new post. It says Q&A for day 3. You guys can add your questions here, and I'll just read them out to you.
Oh my gosh, what is going on with Facebook? That is crazy.
I don't know. Today it wouldn't even let me turn it back on. I tried, and I clicked turn it back on, and nothing happened.
Wow.
So it's being a pain.
Wow. That's insane. I wonder why Facebook is starting to do that. That's great. All right. Oh, I just saw there were a bunch of okay. Well, everybody, as you guys know, David and I stay active and we will answer your questions. So in that link that Chris has created in that new post, if you have questions, please put them there. We will do our best to answer them. Please, please, please let us know if there's any way we can help you. And Chris, we just want to say thank you so very much for letting us come into this group and interact. We've had an absolute blast. I think this is a brilliant idea that you have of being able to highlight the different areas of knowledge and expertise we have in the group. And it's just been such an honor to come in and share this space with you. So thank
Well,
you.
the feeling is mutual. It's been amazing having you guys on. I couldn't imagine starting out with a better couple. So thank you
Oh, well,
to you
thank you.
guys. So we do
Very
have some
kind.
questions rolling in here. Shauna
Ooh.
has just asked, so is there no free way to do the audiogram thing?
Fang.
So is there no free way? Descript has a free version. You can't use your own art in the audiogram with the free version. You have to use a paid version. So anytime you're doing anything free, you're going to have very limited capabilities. I don't know if Headliner has a free version or not.
They do.
Okay. But
Yeah.
it might be limited there.
It has
And
some
then Buzzsprout
limitations.
in the free version.
Yeah, it has some limitations,
Yeah.
but you can put some, I think you can do 5 uploads a month, perhaps. That's what it is. And you can do the closed captioning on
Okay.
it as well. That's what I use.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So Headliner is a nice option. I've never used it. I've used Buzzsprout and Descript, but I know a lot of people that use Headliner. So that's a good
And you
good
can,
question.
I know with Libsyn, you can actually connect
All right, any other
Headliner
questions?
to it, and it will automatically do your audiogram for you.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
At least it did.
Yeah.
But I have
That's
to
a
say
really
what
cool
you guys said
feature.
about Buzzsprout even sounds better. So
We
yeah,
just
so
like how
Shauna-
easy it is to use. Yeah.
yeah, Shauna's just saying that she uses Libsyn for the host and not Buzzsprout. But yeah, so Shauna, you can check out Headliner. And if you have any questions, I can help you out with that one because I use it probably weekly. Penny's just asked, what is the cost for the 6-week program?
Nice.
You there?
I think we've got a
Tiffany
delay
has
again
that
with
input.
Tiffany.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is crazy. I can see you guys and hear you guys. It's so funny.
So do you have
All
the
right.
cost of the 6-week program with you, Tiffany? Because I don't have that with me.
Oh, you asked about the cost of the 6-week program.
Yeah.
Yes. So it is, let me click on. We have a special sale for gig jiggers. Let's click on the link.
Gig jiggers. Is that a new?
Gig
Gig
jiggers.
Can I get a t-shirt?
So normally the program is $9.97, but for the Gig Jig group, it is $8.47 for the course. So special deal for those of you in Gig Jig. The doors to that deal will close next week, though, on Wednesday, because we are kind of opening up another version of our boot camp and our course and all of that good stuff. So for until the 6th, you guys will have this special price until the 6th for a Gig Jig group. So it's normally $9.97 for the group, $8.47.
That's a great deal.
Yeah, for 6 weeks, and you get a ton of intensive support from David and I. And it's not just on the day our course is taught; we support all throughout the week. We're just super interactive online. So, yep.
Our courses are designed to be, each day is supposed to be an hour, and they tend to turn into 2 just because we go way overboard. So
we love to give value. Any other questions?
No, nothing else has come back. Penny said thank you, but that looks like that's it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the link that you gave me, should I then just share that here in the group? Okay,
yeah.
Good. I will hunt it down. It's back in our messenger somewhere.
I think here, let me put it. I think I can go ahead and put it in the group. I have it.
Oh, that'd be great.
Gig Jig links. Here we go.
And
I try to be organized here. It works once in a while.
You are.
I'm putting in the private chat since I can't link.
Okay, perfect.
There you go.
There it is. Let me just grab that. I would just like to thank Facebook for making this extra convenient and smooth.
It's just testing your skill sets.
My goodness.
Let's see what else we can throw.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. That was the wrong link. That was the wrong
Okay,
link. See, I thought I was that was a link to the boot camp, not to the landing page. Let me give you the link to the landing page.
I'm going to delete that if I can. Don't want any confusion. Here. Delete.
Okay.
Like
my computer's being really slow.
Well, especially because we're draining it with the StreamYard, so everything's moving slow. Yeah.
I do like how StreamYard works, though. I've never used it. I've read a lot about it and watched videos and stuff, and never personally used it. So it's kind of nice to see how this functions. So thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I really like it, and you can combine it with a Prezi presentation as well.
Right.
And I was really on that. I'm very breathy. Yeah, and so you can even stay bigger and bring out a really funky little presentation on that as well.
Wow.
Penny's just said, great 3 days with you all. Very much appreciated. We've got some 3 digits coming up and something's going to be written, but it hasn't popped up yet. So Tiffany, did you give me the latest?
I am working at my computer.
You're working at it. Okay.
Darn slow, but I've got the link now. So I'm coming back to you.
Super.
I have all these windows open here right now.
And I'm sure when we're done the chat, I'll be able to open up the other chat again and hopefully.
Okay. There you go.
Awesome. I've got it. Great. Okay. Well, I don't see any more questions coming in from the group, but we had fabulous attendance. Thank you all for coming out and joining us on our inaugural Gig Jig education series. This has been a lot of fun, and I have to thank you guys both for making it so much fun, so entertaining and interesting, and educational.
Thank you. Thank you for letting us be your first.
Yeah.
That's exciting for us for sure.
Yeah. Couldn't ask for better.
It. Well, yeah, thanks for having us. It has been a blast, an absolute blast. Thank you.
It has been great. So stay.
I think I'm having technical issues again, so
Yes.
this is a great place to end.
She is.
Okay, so
Adding
just
to the comedy.
in terms of Gig Jig, you guys, keep your eyes peeled. We'll be having more. I've got a lifestyle coach coming up probably in the first couple of days of January. And we're just going to keep things growing and going for everybody. So if we don't see anybody before the new year, I want to wish everybody a very happy New Year's Eve. And let's hope 2022 brings us all the best and we can put COVID behind us.
Here, here. For that one.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks again, Chris.
Thanks again, you guys. Take care. Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Bye.